Outside of the City Council, there are opportunities for citizens to participate in our local government. Committees are filled with volunteers, and there are 2 council meetings a month, which are open to public comments. How do you think the city could better communicate to the citizens how they can serve on a committee, how committee members are chosen, and when public meetings are being held?
I think there should be almost a term limit for those committees. And I say a term limit if you have other willing people who want to serve. So if you have someone who has been serving for 15 years, but you have a backlog of people who would love to serve, I think that you should give that opportunity to fresh ideas, fresh perspective, and fresh eyes. The way those committees are set up too is that the mayor selects or appoint. It's a mayor appointed, and so I think that you should have a diverse group of people, which it's pretty diverse. My thing I would like to critique about that would be the term limits on how long you serve on those committees. And then they are open, but they're open at off hour times that a lot of times people cannot just get to if you work a 9 to 5. They're almost set up for people who are either entrepreneur or have a flexibility schedule, and sometimes people want to serve that do not have the flexibility. So maybe have those that would take, again, me being elected and being able to see what we could do. I don't want to come up with ideas and they're only really one-sided ideas. But again, me personally, I would say term limits, and then I would want to sit down and hear other ideas and suggestions that people who feel like they would like to be included, but they're not included, to serve on those committees. I think the city does a great job with using social media, especially over the last couple of years. I would like to see the elected officials tap into other ways of communicating. May it be social media, may it be quarterly newsletters or blurb. I don't know what format it would come on or how it would be developed, but I do believe at the elected officials, their form of communication need to come up to the 21st century.
The city does a great job of publishing, what meetings, when meetings, what groups, what committees. So there is no excuse in this world for not, unless you live in a cave without internet access, that you should not know when a particular, and if there's something of particular interest. I'm Acworth Lake Authority. Do you live on or near Lake Acworth? Do you live on do you live close to the sports complex? Because that purview is anything that's Corps of Engineers land inside the city. That's what the Lake Authority looks over. If you have that interest, then come to meetings. They're open to the public, and they're publicized that way. So from getting involved, we have to put that back on the citizens on that. Even to vote. I mean, I'll talk about that later, but we don't vote in this town. So you want representation, well then get out and select that representation. So from a perspective of that, you've got that. Now, how do you get on that? I've got to tell you, I've watched the mayor and the board beg people to fill those positions. It's a kind of a selective. I serve on 2, right? I shouldn't serve on 2, but there's nobody else is stepping up. I think the question said it itself. It's a volunteer organization, volunteer committees. If you don't volunteer, if people aren't volunteering, then how can you fill it? You're going to fill it with the same people that are willing to volunteer. Quite frankly, if I become an alderman, and hopefully I have the fortune of serving you in that, I will not be on the Lake Authority. There's a position open for somebody out there who has that particular interest to try to get involved and maybe get on that. So again, I hate to keep pushing it back to the citizens of Acworth, but you've got to take some initiative and get involved. They are looking for people all the time.
So being, I think, just more transparent is what we're probably trying to discuss, and trying to make sure that everybody feels welcome as far as being part of the different, being part of our city government. So our website has an incredible list of things that are available. And maybe back to that previous question where we need to reach out to more of these neighborhoods and try to see if there's a better way to communicate. As we look at a younger population versus an older population, I may not be the Facebook guru, and I'm not going to get all of my information from Facebook or some of the other social media platforms, but different people are. So that's where using city staff and people that understand those different things can help us to try and diversify our information to make sure that we're getting it out there. I do think the city does a great job of providing it and making sure that it is available, but maybe we need to reach a certain demographic that we're not, and that'll take somebody that is much better apt at doing maybe some of these social media platforms. But maybe we need to try and schedule where we have a councilman go to a neighborhood forum, and maybe we can get some input that way, or maybe that's a way we can encourage them to actually come to a meeting and see what's going on, how we can encourage them to volunteer and be able to ask them to be part of their own community.
Well, first of all, I share the same concern about the lack of information being provided to the community. Yes, it's on our Facebook pages and it's on the city pages and stuff, but I tried to look for it and I had to fumble through a few pages to find it. So what I propose is, first of all, we advertise the turkey trot, we advertising all the different events that go on in town. So why not advertise our city council meetings, our planning meetings? I want the citizens to know what's going to go on from that planning meeting before they get to that city council meeting, because if I open it up for a comment and all they have a list of things that we want to approve, it really doesn't give the community the input they need. Another way that we can approach this is through our bills. Like, say for example, the EMC, when they send out their bills, they could, on the back of the bill, there could be key dates coming up for planning meetings, zoning meetings, as well as city council meetings. And it needs to have some sort of agenda on there, because I've been to city council meetings and what I see is on the board, they already have a list of things that they're going to either approve or deny as a group. And my question was, well, how did we come up with this? Oh, we had a planning meeting on Monday. Well, if the citizens don't have enough time between Monday and Thursday to see what the proposals are, how can they have an adequate comment or feel that they're being heard on the day of the decision? Absolutely. The minutes of the meeting that belongs to the public. It's not something that should be hidden. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. I mean, we need more of that on every aspect of government in this city. As far as previous, I think part of this question was about the committees, right? So if we want committees, we need to ask for volunteers, and then the elected officials should head up each one of those committees. Now, we don't need 100 committees, right? That just gets a little overkill. But on the issues that the city has, we need to set up volunteers. They need to be able to put their names in. We can even interview them. Say, hey, what's your experience? What's your background? But we can come to the great. But the chairperson of those committees needs to be an elected official who can be held accountable for the decisions that come out of that committee.